Tell me switch part.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The boys are back. We're
Uh-huh.
coming back like the Lions. The Lions, like how the Lions come back. We're coming back with a
Oh,
vengeance. You know,
oh.
we're not fueled by hot dogs, but we're coming back with the same attitude.
There was definitely a roar. Definitely a roar this weekend from the Lions, I think as well the emotion, the things happening around and everything. It helped altitude as well. And they played like they wanted it more. So
Yeah,
yeah, you have to give them credit for that character, to come back from tough weeks, tough things in the media, and put out a good team performance.
they did definitely, and it's back to who they're supposed to be. I mean, you could say that the Glasgow team was terrible, but you can only play what's in front of you. So I'm not going to be
Yeah.
too harsh in that
Mm.
respect, but what was put in front of them, they devoured it.
Yeah, they wanted to play, and they used their weapons that they had, and you can just see. I mean, we mentioned it that it's not that that they're not a bad team, yeah,
Mm.
and it's just. And even in that game, you saw there's moments where execution did let them down and poor defense as well. Maybe just not really
You
switched on
say,
and
but
just.
you say poor defense, but at the same time, you look at the Franco Horn try, who Horn is
Okay, okay.
essential. You're starting to see players who are essential. Horn,
Mm,
you saw his try. It was from that pressing, that defense, picks up, goes
mm-hmm.
all the way, moving up the power rankings of number eight. Again, even I mean that goes to the defense. Even we saw Jacques
Yeah.
Ferry. Jacques Ferry passed the test. I think he got a 7 out of 10. So I think in that respect they're doing well. In other
Yeah.
respects, though, I feel one thing that stood out for me the most was that Nohamba has to play. Nohamba has
Yeah.
to play for the Lions to do anything because
Yeah.
he was the catalyst for
Is a
for
spark.
the game.
The spark. Yeah. The spark. It definitely. You know that energy and focus and yeah, look, the errors he's cut down, on his error rate. And if he can just I think it comes with
That comes
him
with
playing
playing
more.
more. Yeah, that
It comes
exactly.
with
That
playing
comes
more,
with playing more.
you
One
know.
one one one
So
Chituka is not enough. We can't win with one Chituka. We need some guys around him, and hopefully there've been
yeah,
some
true.
rumors around that the Lions will be recruiting. So hopefully we can see stuff like that. Good
Mm,
recruitment that they did have was Edwin van der Merwe, who
definitely.
even that you can
Definitely.
see that's the Lions' way
It's
of playing
important.
an
It's important.
aimless kick, Q and Horn,
Q and horn.
tidy.
Yeah. Mm,
These
mm.
guys, they're playing. It's
Look,
back to what
even
it should
Manny
be
Russ stepped up as well
as
in this
well.
game because defensively, look, he makes tackles, because he gets low, he chops,
Mm.
It's just with ball in hand where nothing much was really happening, and he's backing his power. He's a little package pocket dynamite. He's not. It doesn't necessarily have the height, but he showed great strength. Leg
Yeah.
drive. So I mean, yeah, I think he's starting to figure out what he's got to do. And he's doing that. He's bringing what he's bringing. He's not trying to be something that he's not. And it worked out. So yeah, all around, you can say that it was a good sort of team performance from the Lions, definitely. And it showcased what they can actually do. With the right sort of focus, with the right structure, and iron out all the other issues. Take away all the distractions, and it's they need to. The rugby needs to be the rugby. You know.
Hopefully, moving forward, the rugby will be the rugby, and they'll keep it up. But we're playing the Bulls this weekend, so to be quite
Hey.
honest with you, I see us going back in the other direction.
I don't think so, but we'll get into that. I don't think so, but we'll see. But we'll get into the next game.
Yeah, Sharks versus Ulster. Buta was back to me,
Yeah,
looking very
thank you,
comfortable in his position, and
thank you,
I'm
thank you,
personally I'm impressed.
thank you. Look, nobody's saying Fassi is a bad player. Buta just looks more comfortable, more assured, and there's there's just something about him there, that at the moment there's that stability. Let me put it like that. Actually, that's there. That is not so much there with Fassi. But bear in mind, he's a youngster as well. I think how old is he? He's his early 20s. So he definitely still going up the ranks. A bit taking more time for him, but what? He's got something. But at the moment, Buta's just doing a better job. Not saying that he's doing a bad job. Buta's just doing a better job. And looks more secure. So
Yeah, and if you're a Shark supporter, there was that rumor going around that Fassi would leave.
yeah.
Buta playing like this, you're not too displeased with it.
You're not worried. You're not worried. Let's be honest. You're not really worried. Because the thing is that without him there, then who's the next guy at 15? That poses another question in terms of the depth. And again, I think this game again really just showed the depth or lack of quality depth. For them. So yeah, they played well, but they just didn't have enough. And you could see it. It was just young Cubs. They did struggle. At the end.
Yeah, my thing is that the Sharks in the beginning, especially I'd say the first 20, they had that forward momentum, they had that tempo. Grant Williams showing why he is in that box squad live wire. The only thing he can improve upon is maybe his box kicking.
Yeah.
But besides that, and the other thing was he was caught sleeping, like how he catches other people sleeping. So there was a bit of medicine. There was a bit of medicine on the day. Even you want to talk about depth, Cameron Wright came on and had a bit of a shocker if you want to talk about depth at 9, which we always thought the Sharks had. But
now letting Nohamba go suddenly doesn't look too good if we're being honest, especially if, let's say, you've got just Hendrickson out, with the box, and they all of a sudden you're looking thin, in terms of quality.
Cameron Wright and Lionel Cronje are not two guys you want to bring on when you're chasing a game.
Look, a few weeks ago I did make a mention of Lionel Cronje, not in a bad way, but look, we need a better alternative. That's all I'm saying. In terms of if they want to go where I think they want to go, they do need to try and find a better alternative at 10, to be in the mix, because I'm a magic trick fit.
But yeah, Ulster came back in, I think especially from a physical point of view, they stood up at some point, and I think there was a bit of naivety in the Sharks team in terms of you could see Ulster were killing them from set piece, especially the maul. So why are you giving them penalties and territory? There's things like Tucky's when he went up and he tackled someone that was in the air, things like that. If you can see that these guys they're surviving in this game off the maul and off set piece, literally the big moments, then you have to cut out that territory and you have to suffocate the points that what's bringing them points.
Yeah. And again, it just goes the error rate, and it's because of that little bit of quality that they're lacking in that respect, and against a team like Ulster, Dwayne Vermeulen, his experience is always going to tell, and they would have learned from their previous visit. You know what I mean? To the Sharks, and understood how they want to play, and it just looks like Ulster sort of worked their way into that game. They just, because the Sharks were just, put good pressure, score points, and then give them a go, and the physicality, I think Ulster just edged that, in terms of the gain line battle, and that's for me where they really lost the Sharks lost it, because, forced into penalties and yeah, it's just, you don't have enough at the end.
We'll see. Moving on to next week's game, we'll see if Sharks can bounce back against the Stormers. Stormers at home.
Oh,
Personally,
hey,
I feel like
hey.
maybe it could be more competitive than what one would think.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Sharks box, they're still in camp, right? If I'm not mistaken, should be a 2-week camp. If they
Yeah,
are,
I don't know that one, but hopefully they're back.
if they're not playing, I think it's going to be a tough one because Stormers they're just too much. They're the South African team, and so far nobody locally has really a real answer for them. Maybe yes, the Sharks can, but nobody really has an answer for them. So it's going to be a tough one. That's just all I'm saying. Good game, but tough. I think, especially if we don't have our big hitters, and especially if there's going to be the same areas as because attacking we can play. We can score. You showed that there was good attacking intent in the against Ulster. So there's good things, but at the moment it's not cohesive. It's not consistent. Whereas the Stormers, they just they've got it.
Next game, Bulls versus Lions. Bulls at home. Lions. Maybe if Lions were at home, we'd see something, but I don't. I
Look,
see. It's nice to have this victory and to be like, oh, the players they're rallying around the man, and we're having our our movie moment. You know what I mean? We're having our Remember the Titans moment where guys are like, no, we'll stand for him, we'll get this win, we'll stand for it. But this is real life, and we're going to Loftus. We're gonna lose.
Look, yeah, Loftus is difficult, but the Bulls haven't really been the same, even at Loftus. Okay, granted, it was the Stormers, and okay, but I'm just saying that if the Lions can get it right and keep the pressure on the Bulls and cut out their mistakes, because the Bulls like to kick, even though they can play, but they will kick the ball to them, and they've got the strike power. If they have that same conviction, then look, it's there for them. It's not forget the movie moment, whatever. That's just what it is, And I think the Bulls would also have to would have to be about like 2% or 5% of their game.
My thing is, I've said it before many times on this podcast that the Bulls only have plan A. If plan A doesn't work, they just do plan A faster. And I think plan A is good enough to beat this Lions team. Where they lost against the Stormers, plan A wasn't enough. And I feel like that plan is enough to beat this Lions team. But nonetheless, I will be watching. I will be there in spirit. I will be edging my team.
Look, defense, you mentioned it that they rated Joffrey, and I think if they can get it right defensively, hear what you say about the Bulls, but I'm just saying that right this week I've got more faith in your team than mine.
We're the other way around because it's gonna be a tough one. Any closing remarks?
No, look, it's gonna be a tough. Obviously, derbies, it's always gonna be tough. Plus, we know, guys, they also want to get called up and be in the picture. So performances are gonna pick up definitely. So yeah, excited for it. And look, the Sharks always, but it's gonna be tough.